Hi, it's Marnie and Sue Painter back with our online business reality show, Marnie and Sue's Peep Show, and where we pull back the curtains on our lives and our businesses and kind of give you behind the scenes of what's working and what's not. And today we thought we'd talk about technology, keeping up with technology, how you do that.
Bill.
Bill helps you with the technology. Is that it, Sue?
No, he doesn't help me with the technology, but I think the dog has to go out.
Oh, behind the scenes. There you go.
So behind the scenes, I see him lurking over toward the door. Okay, thanks. Yeah, that and maybe a little bit about pricing. Those are some of the questions I've had from clients lately. I don't know. Do you have questions from clients that you want to talk about today?
I don't know. I'll probably think of something. We can start with the technology and let it roll from there and see where it goes.
But, yeah. Well, lately for myself, this isn't a client thing. This is a Sue thing. Lately for myself, I have, you know, when you're in the online world, you kind of have to keep up with the things that are happening online, and that changes all the time. So for instance, we know that Facebook has changed and their algorithms change almost weekly. And you know that you've got to pay to play and all that Facebook advertising stuff that we've talked about here on the show before. But now it seems like there is a steady release of more and more technology that you can use that will ostensibly help to get your work done. So lately I have found out about a new little piece of software that's a widget, a plugin really, that will allow you to, this is the day we're talking, your daughter goes one direction and I'm talking about my dog needing to pee. I mean, this is life as an online business owner. What can I say?
Yep.
But at any rate, there's a new plugin that will allow you to do a buy button on your Facebook page and send somebody over to a product. And if all they have to do is click buy, and they have to write buy as a reply comment to what you're offering. And it takes them over to your web page and lets them complete that purchase. And so that's there. Then there's a new skin on Webinar Jam, now called Webinar Studio, that you can put on top of Google Hangout that gives you a dashboard and allows you to make live links and allows you to send out emails to the people who want to view your thing, which, Marnie, you and I could actually be using for the Peep Show because I own that. And then there are new templates and things like that within lead pages. There's something in lead pages now. My nose is itching, sorry. We're all over the place today, Marnie. This is the real authentic us. Then there's something within lead pages now called lead digits that will allow people to text to you to be added to your list. And then there's something called ClickFunnels that people are going over to. Some people are leaving lead pages to go to ClickFunnels. I mean, there's all kinds. Oh, and now, of course, we should be talking about, since this is video, we should be talking about the new video YouTube cards that you can put on your YouTube videos that are actually a link to a buy page or to a registration page that'll pop up out of your video. And I just am learning now how to do that. So lately I feel like I've had to both invest in, and now I'm struggling to have enough time in between clients to learn how to use all of this all these new cool tools. And you have to really think about, is it something that you're going to use or not use? Should you be using it? Is it worth it to take the time to learn how to do it? And you kind of have to keep up with that stuff, and you can't really do everything, but you do have to pick and choose. And sometimes you have to invest in one and play with it before you can make the decision that it is or is not for you. So, and I'm guilty of that. I bought Webinar Jam when it first came out years ago and never really sat down and learned the technology of it. And now, you know, it's version number however many with this new studio that's more complicated, but also gives you a lot more capability. So there's just all sorts of stuff that is tech stuff that it's a full-time job to keep up with it and evaluate it and see what you should be working and bringing into your business and what you need to let go of. So I don't know, Marnie, if you have any thoughts about that, but I see lately within the past 2 or 3 months, things are very rapidly changing, very rapidly changing.
Yeah. I'm kind of a, I don't know, I have a kind of a weird philosophy on all that. I think it's good to be aware of it, but I get so many clients who are mobilized by all of the tech choices and the bells and the whistles that they do nothing.
Right.
You know, and so I'd rather see somebody keep it really simple and not overcomplicate it and get it out there and be able to start making money, and then just gradually start to look at some of these things. Like, you're coming at it from the perspective who's doing well. You're, you know, you've got established business, and you're not in the startup phases.
Right.
I know a lot of the people that watch our show are not really there, you know, and they can get off on the bells and whistles and the, you know, the plug-in for this and that, or buying this or that, and never really do the stuff that's going to make you money.
Yeah.
You know? And if it's going to overwhelm you, don't do it. Keep it simple.
Yeah, I agree. If you're a startup, it really is especially hard to, you don't really have the time to look at all those kind of bells and whistles. But on the other hand, not too long into your business, once you start to make a little money and you have a viable business, if it's something that's going to help you reach more people and build more lists, and it works as well as, say, Facebook advertising, or at least halfway as good as Facebook advertising, but it's free, then in a way it's kind of incumbent upon you to know about that, which I'm kind of excited about this video, this YouTube cards thing, because it is free, at least for now. Of course, who knows that it will be forever, but I'm kind of interested in that. So I'm learning about that. Maybe by the next time the Peep Show meets, we can, I can talk about that a little bit if I've had time to mess with it much. So yeah, but it is true that there are, I mean, probably of every 10 things I hear about, I pick one to invest in and see if it's something that I want to use. Or maybe I see that I could use it for one of my other businesses, or I see that maybe Bill could use it in his real estate business. So I kind of look at things with a broader view than probably most people. But anyway, it's constantly changing, and I see it ramping up. I see that the tools are just coming out more and more and more and more often, which is, I mean, in a way it's cool, and in a way it's kind of like that grasping thing, like you never achieve mastery, because it constantly changes, that you and I have talked about before.
Yeah. To me, I let my need drive the research into the tool. So like if I need a better way to reach my audience, and I see that, okay, this YouTube thing is there, I'm going to check that out.
Yeah.
Or if I need some plugin that'll do something, I go research and I find the plugin that'll do it, rather than letting everything being bombarded at me determine where I spend my energy, because there's so much coming at you, you're going to get off on all kinds of tangents. So
right.
I let whatever my next growth piece that I'm trying to do in my business, okay, now what tools are available to do that? I don't know. I guess you can go either way, but I get too overwhelmed trying to keep up with all of it. I'll end up following people who are, there's early adopters, people who like to be the first one to get in, try the new tool, and they'll tell other people about it. Like Denise Waitman is an early adopter, okay? So I follow Denise. I let her do all the grunt work and the research and figure it out. And then I go and I either ask Denise or I follow her, and see what she's saying is good. So just certain people that are like, Maury Smith was always up with the Facebook social media stuff, follow those people who like to be the early adopters, and then let them do all the beta testing and tell you whether it's any good or not.
Sometimes it really doesn't work out. I mean, I've seen people, Denise among them, really get behind like Google Plus and spend a lot of time thinking that's where the world was going. And now there's talk that there might not even be Google Plus, here in a couple of months. So sometimes you can spend a lot of time and energy and things don't gather traction. And then you've learned something that nobody's paying attention to. So it is hard to pick and choose. And I do agree that right now I feel overwhelmed. I'm like, oh my gosh, well, there's 3 new tools that I actually think would do me good, and I need to learn to use them. And it's kind of like, well, gosh, which one do I spend the extra 30 minutes that I have on? Because I don't have you know, 2 or 3 days to just sit and dive right into it. And you can, so anyway, but technology, it's always going to be there, and you're always going to get, you know, lots and lots more opportunities to try new things out than you could possibly have time to do. On the other hand, you probably do need to at least be cognizant of them, because some of them really, you will end up being left behind if you don't have them in your business. So you have to play that game, and you have to kind of walk that little line.
I like the idea of evaluating your business. What do you need to focus on for the next quarter? Do you need to build your list? Do you need to do some advertising? Do you need more sales? You know, do you need to get your systems in place? And by having a main focus for, okay, for the next 3 months, I'm going to find some advertising venues or ways to get my message out. So that's my most important thing. Then I could research the tools that are out there to do that. And then I'm staying on focus rather than, oh, I got off on a bright, shiny object and now I'm learning about a, know, something that's not even.
We do have the bad habit. We as entrepreneurs have the bad habit of doing that, because most entrepreneurs are lifelong learners. So we always like to learn new stuff. And therefore that kind of gives us that bright, shiny object syndrome, where we're like, oh, look at that. That might be something useful, or, you know, we like to learn about new things. So but I agree with you about systems in business. On kind of a totally different topic, you know, Bill does real estate here, and off and on we've talked about trying to flip some houses here in Florida, where certain areas of Florida where we live that's on the water, it's quickly back up into appreciation. But we've never done it, and we're going to have to do it with other people's money, because I'm not going to put my money at risk. So we got to know the system to do it. And so lo and behold, there was this little seminar where we had the opportunity to go listen to this guy who has been flipping houses, has done thousands and thousands of them over the past 4 or 5 years. And the invitation at that little seminar was to come spend 3 days over a weekend here in a couple of weeks and really learn his system. And we decided to do that because we wanted to go to somebody who had made millions doing this and see if we could really understand his system and if it made sense. And I'm bad about systems. I should systematize things more than I do. I get going so fast that I don't stop and put together a system, and I need to be better at that. But anyway, we got all the materials for this course that we're going to be taking here in a couple of weeks. Oh my gosh, talk about systems. This guy has step by step by step by step exactly how you look at a house, exactly how you run the numbers, exactly on a clipboard. He's like, get a clipboard, put this on the clipboard, take a pen, do this, this, and this. I mean, it is like step by step, even to the point of, if you decide you're going to do this, he suggests that you meet this formula. And if it meets the formula and you're going to do it, he has the model number, the color, the brand of paint, everything that you should put in that house. No more, no less. Like systematized down to, go buy this toilet, go buy this paint, go buy this carpet, this brand in this color, go buy this pad, go buy, you know, I mean, completely systematized. And it's in 5 volumes of material that's on both CD and in like a spiral binder kind of thing. So if you ever went and did it, we just sat there and looked at each other. We were kind of looking at it over the weekend and you know, thinking, well, do we want to really go to this training or not? He's got it down. I mean, it's like breathe here, inhale here, exhale there. It's down to a system, buddy. And I can't help but think that if you went to do a flip and you did not follow his system, you would just be an idiot. I mean, you really, really would almost not be able to make a misstep. He is so systematized. And I'm flabbergasted by it. And it made me feel like, oh my gosh, well, I could certainly be doing better systems in my business, because this guy, he's just like, wow, you know, he has everything so specifically outlined. So anyway, we're going to go take that class. I want to be a little bird on Bill's shoulder and see what I think of this too. So we're going to go take that class here in a couple of weeks, and I'll see what I think about it after that. But systems, yep, he definitely builds his systems, and he just replicates that over and over and over. And as his team grows, they get a book, and they're like, don't. And he's like, if you deviate from this system, even one iota, you're out the door. I mean, he just uses it like lockstep. It's pretty amazing. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, that's cool that you're going and learning it too, because I think going and being exposed to and learning about some industry that's not anything related to what you're doing,
Right.
sometimes helps you get fresh eyes on how to go back and do your own business.
Right.
You'll probably pick up stuff on
Yeah.
how to systematize your own.
Yeah.
And teach your people. I mean, you'll probably come out the other end with some kind of system.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I actually, that's true, because I've thought a lot about, I've been going through this thing where I'm just trying to systematize the colors of my brand and, you know, the website, and it keeps changing. I don't know, it's just a long story, neither here nor there. But yeah, like if I can't systemize that, then I guess I don't know, you know, my head from my tail. So yeah, it's interesting. And probably if we were to try it, I would be the one who would be doing the marketing for him. And then he would go out, you know, and find the houses and find the people to do the flips. So I kind of feel like I'm going to be in it. So we'll see where that goes.
Interesting. Cool.
What else are we going to talk about? I forget. Your Saturday night day.
My day. It was actually really fun. I had a good time.
Good.
Yeah. Nice restaurant, movie.
Oh, that's good. That sounds good. Promising.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll see this dude again?
He's supposed to come take me out for my birthday this weekend, so we'll see.
Happy. We all have to say happy birthday to Marnie. When is your birthday?
It's Friday. May Day. May Day, May Day.
Oh, May 1st? Really?
I'm
Wow.
a bull.
Happy birthday to you. I will be in Fort Lauderdale at the at Sherry Rosenthal's retreat blueprint workshop, learning the blueprints of how to do retreats and take people traveling on retreats. And so I will be thinking about you on May 1st. Happy birthday.
Oh, thanks. Cool. That'll be a fun event, I think. Good training.
Yeah, I'm thinking that it's going to be, we're leaving tomorrow, and the event is Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And, you know, I've thought about doing this often, and I need to look at what her business model is, because she's been very successful at it, and see if it's something that I would want to try within the Confident Marketer or not. So it's off to learn something new and learn a whole nother new system. I think she has it pretty systematized too.
That's funny. I'm looking at doing some retreats too. I've been talking to a couple friends of mine, so about doing one this fall. So
yeah, that's
kind of on the same path there. So
you know what? We still need to be talking about, are we ever going to do anything?
yeah, I know. We need to sit down and figure out where we dovetail together really well.
Yeah, we should do that. Wait, let's make that a priority to do. I guess another thing that we were going to talk about is pricing strategy. That came from a question. Actually, I was working with a client about pricing this morning, and you know, I get this question all the time. It's probably one of the most common questions I get. And Marnie, I bet you get it too. It's like, well, I don't know what to price my offer. I don't know what to price my product or my service. And people get into this big head game where they want to keep it cheap because they want everybody to buy it. Well, just because it's cheap doesn't mean that everybody's going to buy it. But they don't want to keep it too cheap because they really want to make money on it. And so they kind of, like it's a head game, and they kind of fake themselves out. They start really high. I'm gonna price it at $9.97, and before I know it, it's down to $97 because they're so afraid nobody's going to buy it at $9.97. Well, pricing has to do with the value of the service that you're offering, not the time that it's going to take, but the value of the service that you're offering or the product that you're offering. What will it make how will it make a difference in that person's life or in their business? How will it affect their bottom line? So that's one way to think about it. Another way to think about it is you can use pricing to help draw the people you most want to work with. And in the case of what I was talking about this morning with somebody, they felt like they were working too cheaply. And the reason they were is because they were trying to attract a certain market that was a market they were familiar with, but it really wasn't a market that had the money to pay for what this person was offering at any kind of decent level. So she priced it a little bit too cheaply, and then she got some clients, and then that she didn't really enjoy working for them because they were nickel and diming her to death, and she felt like she was being paid too low. And then sure enough, after a couple of months of it, well, they were stretched too thin and they couldn't keep going with it anyway. And so, you know, I was like, it's a matter of pricing what you will be happy to work with and what makes sense to you, but also getting in front of a better market, because she was trying to do it with solo professionals who really, a lot of them have never spent a dime in any kind of service like this. She needs to look at bigger businesses who are used to the cost of doing business and who have $1,000 or $2,000 a month to throw toward what it is that she's offering, and they already understand the value of it. She doesn't have to keep educating her market about why they should even give a damn about what it is she's offering anyway. So pricing is really not just about pricing, it's about pricing and your market. And the two of those are interchangeable, and you cannot think about one without thinking about the other. And it also has to be what you're willing to work for. So, you know, I don't want to consult with somebody for $20 an hour. I would not be happy to do that. So I have to do it at a level that I feel like makes me smile to do the work and give good value for that amount of money. So anyway, I don't know what you have to say about pricing strategies, but it is never just about price. It's always about other factors that enter into how you build that strategy.
Yeah. I think you're more of an expert on pricing than I am. I probably underprice too much.
A lot of people do underprice, but you know, and I mean, I've underpriced too sometimes, I think, in my long years in being in business, but it's, if you base, my favorite saying about pricing is, fear is not a pricing strategy.
Yeah, that's good.
Kind of like Dan Morris says, hope is not a marketing strategy. Fear is not a pricing strategy. So if you're pricing it totally out of fear because you think nobody's going to buy it at the price you really want to charge, then it's not a good pricing strategy. It's not a good price.
Right.
So
yeah. I think a lot of people don't run the numbers of realizing that, okay, if I can get 2 people at $9.97 versus 10 at $97, it's a lot less work to work with 2 people, you know, than it is to work with a whole bunch of people that are really only paying they're paying a low amount, and sometimes they're the most troublesome. The ones who have not, I mean, not always, but it can be that you spend 80% of your time on the people who bring in 20% of your revenue, you know, that whole.
You more than likely will. That's pretty much, yeah. I remember years ago, I went to this mastermind, this VIP intensive mastermind out in California, and I was sitting around a table with 5 other people, and this woman said, well, here's what I want to do. I want to find 1 client a year who will pay me $1 million to have their back at any time, day or night, whatever they need. And everybody around the table kind of went, oh, $1 million. But she only had to find 1. And I like, well, you know, you must run in circles where people have plenty of coin. And she did, actually. Well, she got talking about it. And of course, everybody around the table was appalled and thought that that would never work. But the truth of the matter is, for the past 3 years before she came to that mastermind group that I was in, she had found a person who had paid her $1 million a year to have their back at all times, personal or business. She traveled all around the world with them. She hung out with them whenever they needed advice about something. She gave it to them. Now, it would have to be a heck of a lot of good advice for me to want to pay $1 million for it. I mean, I would never do that personally. But she had done that 3 years running, and she just wanted to keep doing that for another 3 or 4 years, and then she would have made her money and had investments, and that was the end of it. And so if you really want an extreme example of raise your price and you only had to find 1, that's it. And that's a true story. I mean, I sat right beside this woman at this table for 3 days. And I thought that was a pretty amazing thing. I still am not so sure about what she was in a nut job. But on the other hand, she had made $3 million in the last 3 years, hadn't she?
Yeah.
Can't argue with that, can we?
Hey.
I don't know. So you never know. Pricing strategy.
I just need 200,000 clients. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, 200,000 clients. That'd be cool too. So you never know.
Nobody knows at that.
Okay, are we done? Do you have any other words of wisdom for the group today?
No, probably not.
No.
No great words of wisdom.
No words of wisdom. Okay, I don't even know if we have our time set up for next week, but we'll send it out in an email. Maybe we do. I can't remember if we went further ahead or not, but we'll send you an email about when the next one is and how to access it, and as well as the replay link to this one. And please remember that we love to answer your questions. We had a couple of good questions last week. And so if you have a question and you can't make it to the Peep Show Live, you can always email it in to sue@confidentmarketer.com, and I'll bring it to the Peep Show. Or if you are with us live, you can get on the chat and ask us a question in the chat room, and Marnie can read it from her dashboard, and we'll be glad to answer it. We don't have any questions out there right now, do we, Marnie?
Let me double check. I will say this is not words of wisdom necessarily, but I've been going through Gina DeVee's men and money thing, and for any of the women on here that have men issues and money issues, it's really quite fascinating. She has you dissect the beliefs you have about men and the ones about money, and you cross them up and see where they coincide. And you're like men are not there for me, or money's not there for me, or I have a roller coaster thing with both of them, or I'll make some money from something for a while, then it fizzles out, and then I'll have a man thing where I'll date a guy for a while and then it fizzles out. So there's and then you work on your beliefs around the men and the money, and it's supposed to straighten all that out. So I'll let y'all know if I suddenly become rich and find my dream man in the next few months, you'll know it was the men and money thing.
That puts me in mind of that saying of how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah,
so it's probably it. So, and I know some people don't believe in that, but I do believe that we tend to show up in a certain way. And I've seen that within my own life, how I do things or don't do things. And I certainly see it in the lives of my clients. And I see it in the lives of our friends, of the friends that Bill and I have as well. So, yeah. So let us know about that book. I think there's another book I really love about money, but not about men. That is Barbara Stanny's Secrets of Six-Figure Women. That's a great book about money and your beliefs about money. And it's an old book, but it's got a ton of good information in there. It's super if you're thinking about money stuff. And I think actually this Men and Money book, that would be good for people who are also married, but have issues in the marriage and also with money. It's probably good whether you're married or single, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, she addresses it with both. She said you may feel like you're in a pretty good relationship, but you got money problems. She said your relationship could probably be a whole lot better.
Yeah.
There's that some things just don't show up simultaneously all the time, but it's still an indicator you've got some stuff there.
Yeah, pretty cool. All right. Well, I guess I'll see you next week when I'm back from Fort Lauderdale. I got all kinds of stuff coming up. I'm home next week, and then I go to Scottsdale, and then I come back from there, and we go to Tampa to the flipping houses thing, and then we come back from there, and we have about a day, and then we're putting ourselves in the car with Jake, and we're driving home to Nashville for the summer. So the next couple of weeks are going to be kind of but I'll bring home hopefully good stuff from the retreat I'm going to, the conference I'm going to in Fort Lauderdale. So we will see you guys next time. It's good to see you, Marnie.
All right, you too. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.